Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if Hinata and Hanabi falls in love with Naruto, Jealousy Sakura, Part 2. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, Katy Muhle, link is in the description, and also subscribe to my channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. I'm coming sweetly, said a womanly voice, and that made Hinata wake up with a start. She looked around the visible vicinity, and realized that she was in Naruto's bedroom. She quickly looked to her side, and sighed in relief. Living in Naruto's apartment was in no means easy. They were always around each other, and on so many occasions she had fainted in his presence, which was very embarrassing for her. But to be fair, a few of those times Naruto wasn't even wearing a shirt, and sometimes she'd involuntarily caught him when he'd come out of the shower, prompting a nosebleed, and she only just moved in 2 days ago. It had always been her dream to live with her crush, but this was getting out of hand. She had to get a grip on herself before Naruto found her undesirable, if he hadn't already. Then there was the issue of their sleeping arrangements. When they arrived here 2 days ago, Naruto immediately offered to share the bed with her, prompting further teasing from Tsunade, and a punch from Sakura for his perverted idea. She felt so disappointed, but she was happy she wouldn't have to wake up every day and embarrass herself further in front of him. She also forgot about Sakura altogether. She didn't miss her disapproving of the whole situation, and didn't Naruto have a crush on the pink-haired girl? So many things to think about, but the one that was glaringly obvious even to her was the fact that she hadn't even made an effort to actually ask out Naruto or tell him about her crush on him. It wasn't because of Sakura, but she was just too damn shy to ask him out of fear of rejection. The more she thought about her inability to ask out her longtime crush, the more she felt like an idiot. She could just ask him about it, and if he doesn't feel the same way then she would know, and possibly move on. But to who? No one has ever made her feel this way, no one. How could she possibly move on when he was her entire world, her universe? It would shatter her if he suddenly started dating another girl. She wanted to slap herself. She had the best opportunity that none of Naruto's admirers could ever have. She was living with him crying out loud, and all she can do is nothing. No, that will not stand this time. This was fate's way of telling her that it was time. This was her best chance, and Hinata had to swallow the lump in her throat and make her way to the dining room of the apartment. She had to admire this place. It looked way better than his original apartment. She spotted Naruto sitting up on the couch while rubbing his eyes, looking like he just woke up. She mastered it, with as much courage as possible. "Good morning Naruto-kun," Hinata greeted, and silently cheered herself. She didn't stutter once. "Ha. Oh hey Hinata-chan," Naruto greeted back once he was aware of his surroundings. "Naruto-kun, we need to talk," Hinata said seriously. It was now or never. "Sure, what's up?" Naruto asked, sensing her serious tone. "It's about us," she stated. "What about us, Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked confusedly. "Naruto-kun, I'm Hinata." Curse herself. Why couldn't she just tell him already? "Yes, Hinata-chan," Naruto prompted. He wanted to know what was bothering her. At love she couldn't finish before everything went black. "Hinata-chan," Naruto shouted, as he caught Hinata before she fainted. She'd been doing that a lot lately. Naruto didn't understand girls much, well, a lot according to Sakura. Hinata was always so confusing, but these 2 days she was downright weird. She interacted with him, as little as possible, and she would pass out whenever he was around, and he had to wonder if his very presence was a curse or something. He didn't know why, but sometimes when Hinata wasn't looking his way he would look at her, and stare to the point where he had to be reminded by a laughing Kyuubi that he was staring too long. He hadn't forgotten Kurama, and what she did, the seal she made, was something impossible, and he wasn't dumb enough to think that was just dumb luck on her side. He asked her why she couldn't just make a seal that would free her from the mindscape, and she told him the seal that imprisons her is designed to absorb any countermeasures taken on it, so it didn't matter what counter seal or she made, because the seal would just swallow it up. Minato really thought things through there. Naruto apologized for her predicament, but she just told him it didn't matter, and he made her stay in the mindscape enjoyable. He felt so touched by her words that he ended up squeezing the life out of her. He shook his head, and then took Hinata to his bedroom, and put her on the bed. He admired her cute face for a little while, and then made his way back to the living room. He stayed seated for a little while, and was about to do his morning routines, but was stopped by some knocking on the door. He made his way, and opened it to see Sakura on the other side. "Hey Naruto," Sakura greeted me. "Hey Sakura-chan, what's up?" Naruto asked. "Actually, Tsunade-sama needs to see us right now," Sakura said in a serious tone. "But I'm still wearing my clothes from yesterday," Naruto whined. "No buts Naruto, come on," Sakura said. Naruto looked at his bedroom door nervously, then went back to Sakura. "Okay, give me a minute," Naruto said, as he summoned his shadow clone. "Naruto, you're still using that stupid pervert?" Sakura asked, as she advanced on him. "No, Sakura-chan. She's wearing clothes that were cut off with a punch on the face, sending him to the ground." "And you?" Sakura shouted, as she punched the clone in the gut, expecting it to pop, but was surprised when the female clone doubled over looking like she was in pain. "Arg. What's your problem, you banshee?" shouted Naruko, as she stood up, and looked at Sakura murderously. "Wah?" Sakura asked dumbly. That stupid clone was supposed to pop. TCH, so you like picking on people that won't fight back, huh? Well, you'll find I'm not a pushover, Naruko said dangerously, as she stared daggers in Sakura's direction, and took an offensive fighting stance. Sakura had to wonder if she was dreaming. A clone that didn't pop when it got hit. That was impossible, but to be fair, anything involving Naruto was impossible. She didn't know what to say. This was definitely a way to start up a morning right. How is this even possible? Sakura shrieked. Naruko-chan left Sakura-chan alone, Naruto said, as he got up from the ground. Frickin' hollow monkey, Naruko muttered, as she made her way into the apartment. Naruto, you heard what? Sakura questioned, waving her arms animatedly. Naruko-chan, please look after Hinata-chan. Let's go see Ba-chan, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, as he led Sakura away from his apartment. But she's real. Sakura shouted, confused by this. This was so weird. Naruko made her way to the bedroom, and saw Hinata sleeping soundly. She wasn't as oblivious as her creator, and after skimming through Naruto's memory, she immediately felt sorry for Hinata. She was a very nice person, but her shyness was her biggest problem. If the Hyuga girl wanted to be with Naruto, then she would have to do better than what she'd been doing already. It was absolutely embarrassing to say the least. Naruko nudged Hinata softly, and watched, as the former Hyuga princess opened her eyes, and then looked at her. Hey Hinata, Naruko greeted with a smile. Hinata just stared at the girl. She knew this was Naruto's no, but why on earth would Naruto turn into his female form, and wasn't he usually close to being naked in this form? Even the way Naruto was staring at her was different. Naruto-kun? Hinata asked, unsure. Well, you're not entirely wrong, Naruko said. What do you mean? Hinata asked, confused. I'm not Naruto, but I am his shadow clone Naruko said. Why are you a girl? Hinata asked, still confused. Because I want to be, Naruko said playfully. Hinata was too confused to think too much about this, so she just kept quiet. Naruto went to Ba-chan for something important, and he left me in charge of your well-being, Naruko said after a pause. Oh, was all Hinata said, as she looked down, and stayed silent. Naruko rolled her eyes. What was wrong with this girl? Seriously Hinata, you'll never be able to tell Naruto how you feel if you keep acting this way, Naruko said with a frown. Hinata's heart stopped. Did Naruko really know what was going on with her? She couldn't. She was Naruto's shadow clone, so shouldn't that mean she inherited Naruto's character traits? Even if she was a shadow clone, she should act exactly like the original Naruto, right? She had to make sure. What do you mean? Hinata asked. I mean your little crush on him, that's what, Naruko said impatiently. How Hinata was cut off before she could ask with a hand. Look, Hinata, Naruto isn't getting any younger, and you are not helping yourself with dodging every single opportunity you get to confess. What if someone else takes him, huh? What then? You'll have no one to blame but yourself, and you'll end up living with regret, Naruko said to Hinata seriously. Hinata listened carefully to what Naruko said. She had to admit Naruko was nothing like Naruto, they were complete opposites. I don't know how to do it without fainting, Hinata said sadly. She tried this morning, and even that backfired in her face. Don't push yourself too much, and just start things slow. You need to get to a point where it will be comfortable to tell him how you feel without passing out, and it's pretty obvious that you in particular can't just rush in and tell him how you feel, but there's another way, Naruko said with a grin. There is? Hinata asked with hope. The spring festival is happening in a month, and that will be the— Don't worry about any competition for now since Naruto is— Will you tell him about my feelings? Hinata asked, scared. No Hinata. You're the one who loves him, Naruko said, and for the first time Naruko got a good response from Hinata, as she smiled at her. Naruto was with Sakura and Kakashi in Tsunede's office. The lady herself hadn't arrived yet, much to the annoyance of the blonde teen. He hoped Naruko wasn't doing anything stupid right now, like he was the one to talk. Tsunade walked into the office, and she wasn't alone, with her was one Temari. We're all here, as you requested, Tsunade-sama, Kakashi said. Good. I'm sure you've all become well acquainted with the ambassador of Tsunade asked Temari. Yep, you bet. Hey Temari-chan, Naruto said, as he flashed her a grin. Hey, Naruto-kun. Why haven't you been visiting us lately, huh? Temari put her hands on her hips, and glared playfully at him. I guess I kinda forgot, Naruto said, as he rubbed the back of his head. Well, obviously. You were always an idiot, Temari teased. So why are we here, Tsunade-sama? Sakura asked. I'll let Temari explain the situation, Tsunade said, and motioned for Temari to begin. Well, we've got a bit of a problem in Suna, Temari said. Well, whatever it is, it couldn't be worse than Akatsuki, right? Naruto asked, and received a serious look from Temari. We are not sure yet, but we haven't ruled out that possibility, Temari said seriously, and received serious looks from everyone except for Tsunade. That's why I called you here. You are to assist the Sand Village in finding out what exactly is the problem there, Tsunade said. But what makes you think there's even a problem? Sakura asked. Because some of our shinobi were attacked by an unknown assailant, and this has been happening for a few weeks, and lately, as well. Trust me, if we could deal with this alone, then I wouldn't be here in Konoha, Temari said. Not far from Sunagakur was a building that seemed to be made completely out of sand. In the building were dark surroundings, some sunlight penetrated through the building windows, but not enough to lighten the dark area. Deeper inside the building stood a silhouette figure that resembled a female with long hair and wearing a cloak. Her eyes were glowing with a faint purple hue. Her demeanor seemed to scream power. "I'm coming, sweetie. I'm coming for the both of you," the silhouette said from the darkness of the building. Hinata made her way to the Hyuga compound for her regular visit with a small smile on her face. She wasn't stupid, and made sure that her visits with Hanabi were done without the potential repercussions of being easily discoverable. The last thing she wanted was for Hanabi to suffer at the hands of their father, just because she was seeing her. Naruto would be away on a mission, but he made sure to see her before he went, and that's when she did what most would have considered impossible. Flashback. Hinata was sitting in the living room of Naruto's apartment. She didn't really feel comfortable with calling it their apartment yet, even if Naruto was okay with it. Naruko had popped herself a few minutes ago, and made Hinata promise to act and be brave the next time she saw Naruto, and even though Hinata promised that she would, she didn't know if she could keep to her word. She wasn't really worried about why it was taking so long for Naruto to come back. If he went on a mission, then at least she would have more time to summon her courage in order to ask him out. Her hopes were dashed, however, when the front door suddenly opened, and in walked the man of her dreams. "Hey, Hinata-chan." Naruto greeted enthusiastically when he saw her sitting on the couch. "And Naruto-kun," Hinata greeted back shyly, and mentally sighed sadly. She was never going to change, was she? "I just came to tell you that I'll be gone for a few days because I gotta do a mission in the Sand Village," Naruto said. "Oh, okay," Hinata replied a bit less nervously. She felt so touched that he came back just to tell her where he would be, the man of her dreams indeed. "Give me a minute to pack up, and I'll be out in no time," Naruto said, smiling at her, as he made his way to the bedroom. Well, he came to pack too, but that didn't matter. She looked down at her hands on her knees. She was truly pathetic. How many opportunities would she have before it was too late? Here he was. What the hell was wrong with her? If this was the way she was going to act for the rest of her life, then she didn't think she even deserved his attention. "Okay, Hinata-chan, I'm all packed up, and I'll be back in a few days," Naruto said, and made his way to the door. But before he could even touch the knob, he was blindsided by a shout. Hinata didn't know what came over her, whether it was all those failed attempts or her self-pity, but she couldn't, and didn't want to, stop her body, as she shot to her feet, and shouted, "Wait. What's wrong with Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked, a bit startled at her shout. Hinata looked around nervously after she realized what she did. Oh great, now what? She was struggling not to faint again. No. Enough was enough. Her indecisions and unease would be the death of her, and she was sick of it. If she could act the way she wanted around her sister, then why not the love of her life? No more. Hinata looked at Naruto with so much determination that her mind was only focused on one thing, and one thing only, Naruto. "Naruto-kun," Hinata said seriously without so much as a stutter. Naruto for his part was becoming a little bit nervous. He had never seen Hinata look at him the way she was right now. Was she angry at him for something? He certainly hoped she wasn't going to hurt him. Even if he was a cage-level shinobi, he would never lay a hand on her, but he squashed that thought. This was Hinata for Pit's sake. "Yeah," he replied back. "I know this sounds weird and out of the blue, but the spring festival is in a month, and I'd really like it if we went together," Hinata stated. She prayed that he wouldn't be so dense, and treated as friends, just hanging out, and inviting their other friends to come along. "Sure thing, Hinata-chan. We can get the other." Naruto didn't get a chance to complete his statement, because the look Hinata was giving him told him she wasn't happy with his answer. "Naruto-kun, I meant just the two of us," Hinata clarified. She was using every ounce of willpower not to faint right now, and the only thing keeping her focused was the possibility of this being her last chance to have a chance with him. "That's the two of us," Naruto repeated, and went into deep thought. He was confused to say the least. What exactly did she mean? Should the two of them just hang out without the others? There was something more to this though. Hinata wanted the two of them to go to the spring festival together, just them, and no one else. It took a while, but he finally put all the pieces together. "Wave like a date?" Naruto asked in surprise. He never would have expected it to be a possibility of someone asking him out. Well, Sakura was a prospect, but even that was in his wildest fantasies when he was 12. He didn't even think anyone wanted to go out with him, but maybe he never paid enough attention to the female populace, and even so it wasn't like he was looking for a relationship at the moment. What should he do? This was definitely a serious subject, and he had to think carefully before he said something stupid. "Yes, Naruto-kun," Hinata replied, and waited with bated breath for his answer. So he guessed right. He thought about it, really thought about it. Hinata was cute, loving, and caring, everything he liked about her. He never really thought about dating her, but he would be lying if he told himself that he didn't feel at least something for her. The thought of going out with Hinata on one day didn't sound so bad to him, and he didn't really want to treat Hinata like Sakura treated him in the past, when it came to the whole dating thing. "Isn't it supposed to be the guy that asked out the girl?" he said with a cheerful grin. "Please answer me, Naruto-kun," she pleaded. She just couldn't wait anymore. I think Naruto took a dramatic pause just to annoy her a bit. "Naruto-kun," Hinata whined. She wasn't even worried about fainting anymore. The only thing she desperately wanted was a positive answer. That would be a great idea, but let me, Naruto said, as he walked to an elated, but confused Hinata. Hinata-chan, will you go to the spring festival with me? Naruto asked. He felt like she should be the one to deserve the option, not him. Hinata pretended to think about what he said. I'd love to, Naruto-kun, Hinata replied, giving him the most beautiful smile he had ever seen. Naruto looked at her. This would definitely be interesting. So why do you want us to go on a date anyway? Naruto asked confusedly. I want us to enjoy the festival together, Hinata replied, and sighed in relief when she saw that he bought it. She wasn't going to tell him yet, fearing she would faint before it even came to that, but at least she had a chance with him at the most romantic event of the year, the spring festival. She still couldn't believe he said yes, and better yet he asked her out too. God, she loved him. He always found a way to make sure the people he cared for actually felt his care. Okay, that's cool. I gotta go now, but I'm looking forward to our little date, Naruto replied with his famous foxy grin, and then left the apartment. As soon as Naruto left, Hinata fainted, but this time she had a huge grin on her face. Flashback ends. It was like a dream to her. Naruto and her were finally going out, even if it was just one date. She was mostly surprised at herself for her courage. It would come and go at times, but never like this. She felt so proud of herself for achieving one of her lifelong dreams, like really who would have thought it. She giggled like a schoolgirl. This was so amazing. She quickly masked her emotions when she approached the Hyuga compound. No way in hell would she give these people any advantage on her. She went through the gates and greeted the guards politely, knowing full well that they wouldn't greet her back. She made her way through the Hyuga compound and went straight to the branch area where she saw Nichi with Tenten and Rock Lee. Hey guys, Hinata greeted them politely. They greeted her back accordingly. Wow, Hinata, you are positively glowing today. What happened? Did you get lucky last night? Tenten asked mischievously and received sputtering from the poor Hyuga girl. No? Hinata stuttered out. Tenten-chan, Hinata-chan would never do something so youthful. Lee screamed. Unless it's with Naruto, Tenten added with a giggle. I'll see you guys later. Hinata hurried away from them so she wouldn't get any unwanted ideas. Not cool, Tenten, Nichi said stoically, but his mouth did twitch. Hinata made her way carefully to Hanabi's sleeping quarters. There was a reason why she visited Hanabi at this time in particular. Reason being, it was the time when her father would be involved in important meetings or in his office sorting out important documents, giving her perfect time to see Hanabi and leave before she was discovered. Hanabi wasn't allowed to see her, well, officially anyway, but that didn't stop the two sisters from sneaking around and keeping in contact with each other. Hinata had her doubts that Hanabi would commit to this, but was pleasantly surprised with Hanabi spending every single time she could with her. She concentrated when she approached Hanabi's room, and when she opened it, she saw the two occupants. Hi Hanabi-chan, and Akane-chan, Hinata greeted me. Hinata. Hanabi greeted enthusiastically, then quickly composed herself when she realized she was with Akane, and Akane was looking at her like she had grown a second head. Hello Hinata-san, Akane greeted me, as well. Hinata met Akane 2 days ago when she came to see Hanabi. Akane was a sweet innocent girl, and Hinata knew she would be a good influence on Hanabi, which was great. So what are you two doing? Hinata asked. Nothing really, Hanabi shrugged. We were just talking about random things, Akane replied. No, you're the one who's been talking, Hanabi replied irritably, but Hinata saw through it, and knew Hanabi's didn't mean it. Sorry, Akane said sadly. Hinata gave Hanabi a look, and Hanabi sighed. I didn't mean it like Akane, Hanabi said softly. Akane smiled at Hanabi, and Hinata felt happy for them. Things were just falling into place. Arg. I hate traveling for so long. Naruto shouted out, annoying anyone in the vicinity. Naruto-kun, how many times have I told you that you're so annoying? Temari said irritably. I don't know. 12 times. Naruto guessed, and everyone groaned. Naruto, we've only been on the road for a few hours, and we'll only arrive in Suna tomorrow, so I don't think now is a good time to complain, Kakashi said, reading an old classic of his favorite book. Okay. I'll complain later, Naruto said nonchalantly, and everyone groaned again. So Naruto, how have you been doing lately? Sakura asked, and checked to make sure that Kakashi and Temari were not listening in on their conversation. Pretty cool, and you Sakura-chan? Naruto asked, being polite. It's been alright, but I was wondering something, Sakura said, eyeing him. What's on your mind? Naruto asked. Do you think I'm attractive? Sakura asked. Of course I do, Sakura-chan. Naruto said. Okay, so why would you ask me out anymore? Sakura asked curiously. Well, to tell you the truth, I realized that I liked our friendship more than a potential relationship, and besides, I'm not the same impulsive kid I used to be, Naruto said. Sakura frowned. So does that mean you don't have a crush on me anymore? Sakura asked, surprised. You'll always have a special place in my heart, Sakura-chan, but I know that even if I did ask you out, the results will be the same, as they always were, Naruto replied. But what if I was willing to give it a try? Sakura tried. Surely he should be getting where she was going with this. Then I'd accept it, as you and me going out, as friends, Naruto said, thinking that's what she wanted to hear him say, since she wanted him to be more mature, and besides, he really didn't want that kind of relationship with her anymore. What if something happened there that conveyed more than friendship? Sakura asked impatiently. Don't worry Sakura, I wouldn't try anything to jeopardize our friendship, Naruto replied offhandedly. What an idiot. Sakura silently fumed. She was getting nowhere with this. Why did he have to make things so difficult? She couldn't just tell him that she wanted to date him because she would lose power over the topic, and the one she loved was being in control of any situation. She decided not to go any further with the topic for today. So what happened 2 days ago at Tsunede's office? Sakura asked to change the subject. Well, Naruto began. Flashback. Naruto made his way into Tsunede's office. He saw the Hokage herself sleeping on the job, and sighed. He saw Sakura earlier downstairs, and she told him he would witness this if he came in at the moment. For a fleeting moment he thought about making a prank here, but then decided, for the betterment of his health and safety, that he would not commit such an act yet. Hey Ba-chan, wake up. Naruto shouted, and Tsunade woke up with a start. What the hell you damn brat? Tsunade shouted. I'm here, as you requested, Naruto said seriously. I see. Take a seat, and let's begin, Tsunade said a bit groggily. So Naruto went on explaining everything from the beginning, including Kyuubi's participation in getting rid of the caged bird seal that was on Hinata. Tsunade knew that Kyuubi was not to be blamed for the attack that happened 16 years ago, but she was still wary of the beast. She trusted Minato's seal, and knew that Kyuubi couldn't have a significant influence on Naruto. Besides, from what she was hearing, Kyuubi or Kurama was actually a nice individual, as she wasn't being mind-controlled. Kyuubi being female was news to her too. She needed to know if the fox wasn't planning something that might involve the death of her people. Naruto, it isn't wise to just trust anyone or anything that shows you kindness, Tsunade said seriously, expecting Naruto to understand her meaning, but all she got in return was a glare. If you're trying to insinuate something about Kurama, then just drop it. Yes, she was involved in the Kyuubi attack all those years ago, but she wasn't in control of herself. She even healed me every time I got hurt, even if she was moisturizing, thinking about her own survival more than mine. She has shown who she is these last few months, and I can honestly tell you that she has no ill intention towards anyone. She even forgives my father for imprisoning her, and doesn't hold a grudge against Konoha, Naruto said seriously. She could be trying to try. Tsunade was cut off. Look, I know it's hard to believe, but trust me, Kurama has a good heart, and she wouldn't hurt me. I trust her. Fine, but I'm still not convinced yet. Is it possible to speak to her? Tsunade asked. Sure. She can hear and see you, but she can't speak back, so I'll speak for her, Naruto said, and then the conversation continued from there. Flashback ends. Oh, by the way, what I told you is an S-rank secret, so don't tell anyone, Naruto said. Be assured you can count on me, Sakura said. What are you two doing back there? Come on, we need to pick up the pace. Temari shouted over her shoulder, as she dashed forward onto some trees. Naruto and Sakura focused, and went after Kakashi and Temari. They almost forget about the urgent matter at hand. Whatever was happening in Suna would be discovered soon enough. Finally, we're here. Naruto screamed excitedly. He was used to coming to Suna with all the missions he'd done in the past, but the hot desert was still something that annoyed him to no end. He marveled at the size of the sand village. Ever since the whole fiasco of Akatsuki, this place really took a turn for the better. Yay, Sakura said unenthusiastically. She wasn't exactly in the mood for anything because even if it was early in the morning, the heat of the sun was beating down on her relentlessly. Plus, with her failed attempt to get Naruto to ask her out, then her mood would be considered justified right now. Okay, come on, let's hurry, Temari said, as they quickly went through the gates of Suna, and made their way through the village to the Kazekage Tower. I'll kill you, Gur said venomously. Wait Gar, you've got to relax. Kankuro shouted frantically. No, I have had enough of you, Gur said, as he shot sand at the nuisance. An explosion was emitted from the vicinity. No! Kankuro screamed in despair. That will teach you not to mess with me, Gur said glaringly. Arg, what's wrong with you? Now we have to start with the paperwork all over again, Kankuro said angrily. It was annoying me, Gur said, glaring at the broken table with torn paper. And the table, Kankuro asked, annoyed. Nothing but a casualty, Gur said simply. We really gotta get you a girlfriend, man, Kankuro said bluntly. So I'll leave for a few days, and you two are already up to no good, Temari said when she opened the door, and saw the mess in the office. Hey, don't talk to me. Talk to our Kazekage, Kankuro said, glaring at Gar, who just shrugged his shoulders. You too, Temari shook her head. Hey Gar, Kankuro, Naruto greeted them. Oh hey Naruto. Kankuro greeted the visitors. Uzumaki, how are you doing? Gar acknowledged with his usual calm demeanor. Great Gar, but I see you still as impatient with paperwork as ever, Naruto smirked. Just wait until you're Hokage, and then you'll see how aggravating this part of the occupation is, Gar said, rubbing his temple. Don't worry, once I'm Hokage I'll show you how to do it right, Naruto replied. Looking forward to it, Gar smiled. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm aware that we were summoned here on urgent matters. Kakashi cut in. He didn't want to, but they had a job to do. Yes, Kakashi-san, you are correct, Gaara stated. So could you explain to us what's going on here? Sakura asked. I'm sure Temari has given you a brief explanation on the situation, Gaara said, but got a sheepish shrug from Temari. I thought you could do better, she replied sheepishly. I see. Well, to start off, 5 days ago I sent a few shinobi around the village for their regular patrols, and in order for the patrols to be successful, then the range that the patrol units are supposed to cover is large. As expected, the patrols were going accordingly, and the circulation of shinobi deployed and returning back was exceptional. However, problems started to become visible with patrols from the west area of the desert not reporting in after their patrol hours were finished. I sent a further number of shinobi to check and make sure nothing bad had happened, and to my surprise they all returned with the missing patrolman and woman. But that wasn't the surprising part. All of the ninja were extremely drained, to the brink of unconsciousness, and with further analysis, it was discovered that they had lost a significant amount of chakra from their systems. For a moment I thought it was due to chakra exhaustion, but it was discovered that the chakra was forcibly taken from them. I asked a few of the conscious shinobi about what happened, and I was told that they were attacked by a cloaked woman. Ever since then I have called all shinobi from their patrols, in order to increase Suna's defense against a potential threat, Gaara surmised. No way. You and I are the most powerful people around here, so let's go find this lady and kick her butt. Naruto said with a fist raise. Don't be an idiot, Naruto-kun. We have no idea what we're dealing with. Temari said irritably. No, Temari, Naruto is right, Gaara stated. Oh hell no. You're not going anywhere, you hear me, Gaara? Temari shouted angrily. She wasn't going to let this happen. She almost lost him to Akatsuki, and she wasn't going to let that happen again. We can't just wait for the inevitable. I'm Kazuki-age, and it is my duty to protect this village, and with Naruto and his friends providing assistance, then it should work out fine, Gaara said. I'm coming with you, and we're bringing 10 ranked shinobi with us, Temari gritted out. Temari, I don't think you should go. Gaara was cut. To hell with what you think. Call me when it's time to leave. Temari said angrily, and stormed out of the office. What's wrong with her? Sakura asked curiously. Ever since Akatsuki came into the picture, Temari has adopted an overprotective sister persona, and won't allow me or Gaara to do anything too dangerous even if Gaara is Kazuki-age, Kankuro sighed. Well, that's understandable. I mean, she's just worried about you, Naruto said with a smile. Yeah, Gaara said. So when shall we leave? Kakashi asked. Tomorrow morning. I would like to ask if you could provide medical assistance in our hospital, Sakura, Gaara said. It's alright, it would be my honor, Gaara, Sakura said. Thank you, all of you, Gaara replied, truly grateful. No problem, Gaara. So where can we stay until tomorrow? Naruto asked. I've arranged accommodation for you, Kankuro will show you the way, Gaara said. Alright then, we'll see you tomorrow, Kakashi said, as they made their way out of the office. Great, if only I could get someone to clean this mess, Gaara stated irritably, as he stared at the broken table with sand. Naruto was walking around the village alone. Kakashi and Sakura were staying in their hotel rooms that they were provided. He was looking for Temari, but he didn't really know where to find her. As luck would have it, he found her at the one place he never expected her of all people to be, a ramen restaurant. She looked really sad and torn. She also looked a little bit tipsy, and he could see the reason was the sake on the side. Hey, Naruto greeted as he took a seat next to her. I'm a bad sister, Temari asked bluntly. Why do you ask? Naruto asked carefully. I know sometimes I may seem mean and angry towards my brothers, but I really do love them. Why can't anyone see that? Temari said, as she downed another cup of sake. We all see it, Temari-chan. Naruto smiled softly at her, but she still seemed unconvinced. When Akatsuki almost took them away from me, I didn't know what I would do. Without them in my life, I don't know how I could move on. I don't want to lose them. I almost hit them once, Temari said, and wiped her face to stop the tears that were coming out. It's okay, Temari-chan. Look, I know you care for them. If you didn't, then you wouldn't act the way you do. There's nothing wrong with it, I promise, said Naruto reassuringly. Thanks, Temari said, and stopped drinking altogether. Will you need help getting home? Naruto asked. Nah, I'm not drunk, Temari smiled. Alright if you say so, Naruto said, and then caught something. What are you looking at? Temari asked, as she also turned to see. The Spring Festival, Naruto stated, as he stared at a poster. Yeah, I almost forgot about that, Temari said, as she eyed the poster, and then Naruto. What? Naruto asked when he noticed her stare. So who are you going with, huh? Temari asked seductively. I'm going with Hinata, Naruto said nervously. What? You're not taking me? Temari asked. Well, Naruto couldn't think of anything. Relax, I'm only teasing, Temari said mischievously. Oh? So wait, who are you going with? Naruto asked. I'm going with the laziest guy on the planet, Temari said in mock exasperation. Oh yeah, I almost forgot you and Shikamaru were going out, Naruto said embarrassed. Exactly, and do you expect me to cheat on my boyfriend by going out with you? Temari asked, raising an eyebrow. No way. Naruto shouted. My point exactly. Good for you though, you and Hinata, Temari smirked. Yeah, Naruto said nervously, but he didn't know why he was feeling that way. Finally. I was wondering when you would notice, Temari said. What are you talking about? Naruto asked. Never mind, I'll see you tomorrow, Naruto-kun. Thanks for the food, she called out, as she made her way out of the restaurant. Food? Naruto questioned, and got his answer in the form of a bill. Damn you, Temari, he said, as he made his way around the village. It was late now, and he knew he should be resting, but he didn't care. He looked into the distance, and saw that all too familiar cherry blossom hair. Hey, Sakura-chan. Naruto shouted. Hey, Naruto-kun. You're just the person I've been looking for, Sakura said, smiling in his direction. She soon realized a while back that she was doing everything wrong in order to obtain his attention, so now she was going to do everything to let him know that she was available for him. What's up? He asked, noting she called him Naruto-kun instead of just Naruto. There's this beautiful new park they made, and I wanted us to check it out, Sakura said sweetly. Sure, if that's what you want, Naruto shrugged. Great. She beamed at him, then took hold of his hand, and led him in the direction of the park. They arrived, and there was no one in sight. Sakura knew this was perfect. They sat, and talked for a little while. Mostly on their lives, and finding out more about each other. Sakura had to admit that this was probably one of the most precious moments she'd ever had with anyone other than her parents, and he know. Okay, Naruto-kun, we need to get to a serious subject, Sakura said. She felt like an idiot. If she wanted to date him, then she had to be direct, and not discreet. What is Sakura-chan? Naruto asked. I know that on many occasions I disregarded your affection towards me, but now I'd like to say that I'm really sorry for that, and I would like to go on a date with you, Sakura stated, as she stared deep into his eyes. For years he waited to hear those words come out of her mouth, but right now he felt empty. He cared for her greatly, but not to the extent of dating her. She had been a part of his life, and he didn't want to lose her over this, but he couldn't lead her on either. I love you, Sakura-chan, Naruto said. He saw her smile brightly, and regretted what he was about to say next. I'll always love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't feel the same way I did all those years ago. You'll always be special to me, but I realize that we can't be anything more than really close friends. Please don't be mad at me, Sakura-chan. I'd hate myself if I was the reason for you hating my guts, and not being a part of my life, Naruto said honestly. Sakura's expression was unreadable, and Naruto was expecting the worst. When Sakura leaned in, Naruto closed his eyes, and braced himself for a punch, but to his surprise, he felt a light kiss on his cheek, and his eyes locked on Sakura, as she pulled away. I'm not mad at you. I can never be mad at you, even if I do get angry at you sometimes. You follow what you feel, and although I'm disappointed, I understand your reasoning. You're a really good guy, Naruto, and the girl that you'll end up with will be so lucky to have you, if she can stand your obliviousness. Sakura giggled at the last part. I'm really sorry, Sakura-chan, Naruto said sincerely. It really tore at him for doing this. Naruto-kun, I love you too, Sakura smiled, and stood up. Will you ever forgive me for this? Naruto asked, as he also stood up. Sakura bonked him on the head. You idiot. Of course I forgive you. Sakura replied. Ouch, okay. So I guess we better make it back before tomorrow, Naruto said, as he started walking. Sakura lingered for a bit, and stared at his retreating form. He had definitely grown up, and even though she was disappointed, a part of expected this. You're so lucky, Hinata, Sakura thought. Come on, Sakura-chan, Naruto said. Coming. Sakura said, as she made her way to Naruto, and then they made their way to the hotel. The next day, they had been walking for a few hours in the desert, followed by 20 of the highest rank that could be taken. Temari wasn't taking any chances. Naruto was getting bored again. All he saw was sand, and more sand, and he was starting to hate the color of it. He was about to say how bored he was when he saw a building in the distance. The place itself looked like it was made of continuous circulating sand because the sand kept moving. That is the area Kazuki-sama, one of them said. I do not see anything that warrants an attack, Gaara said, eyeing the building in the distance carefully. Wait, look. Temari said, pointing to the direction of the building. They could see a silhouette right in front of the building, as if expecting their arrival. Welcome, the cloaked woman greeted. So have you been the one giving our ninjas a hard time? Kankuro asked. The woman seemed to be looking at each of them, as if analyzing them. It was hard to tell if that was what she was really doing, since she was wearing a hood. Yes, you would be correct, said the cloaked woman. Why? Naruto asked angrily. Simple. They all have something I want, the woman replied. And what might that be? Gaara asked. Chakra, was her simple reply. Will you stop this act of stealing our shinobi's chakra? Gaara asked. I'm afraid not. For you to see that is the only way I can get stronger, she replied, and even though her face was covered, you could see her eyes giving off a red glow. Then we have no choice but to detain you, Gaara declared. You're free to try, however it might not end well for you and your comrades, the woman said. Immediately after her statement, Gaara ordered his men to detain her. They were fast, but she was faster, as she dodged all their sand-based, and occasionally took full blows without even being harmed in the slightest. Gaara realized that long-range attacks wouldn't work on her, but he had something everyone else didn't, full command of the sand. He pulled sand from underneath the woman, and encased her in the sand. All looked fruitful until she effortlessly blew his sand away without even lifting a finger. So you are the Kazakage that can control the sand, said the melodic voice. I am, and we will stop you, Goro said. You got that right, Naruto said, as he quickly made A, and was about to charge the woman until Sakura stopped him. Don't. She takes chakra, remember? Sakura hissed. Enough of this, the woman said, and raised both her hands with her palms open in the direction of the squad. Her hands started glowing blue, and strips of chakra were being extracted from every shinobi in the area. They could all feel it. Quickly create a distance. Gaara commanded. They all moved away quickly. I'm sorry Kazakage, but I won't let that happen, the woman said, as she continued to suck the chakra out of their networks. Sorry lady, but you asked for this, Naruto said, as he appeared behind the woman in a yellow flash. Naruto punched the woman, and sent her flying until she landed at a distance. For the moment the chakra extraction stopped. The woman stood up, and Sakura and Naruto both gasped. Hinata was in Naruto's apartment watching TV with Hanabi. It was Hanabi's turn to visit. Hinata had been having a bad feeling ever since the morning started, like something horrible was about to happen. I'm coming home sweet. That dream brought shivers to her spine. Who was the woman talking to? Why does she sound so familiar? She had been hearing that woman's voice in her dreams for days now, and she didn't know what it meant, but she didn't like it. How did Naruto do it? Hanabi asked curiously. Alright, they were still on the subject of Hanabi discovering about her Sila lack of. I don't really know, Hinata said honestly. Wow, that knucklehead really does have a few tricks up his sleeve, Hanabi said. Hanabi, Hinata warned. Sorry, but even you have to admit he can be an idiot, Hanabi said. Hinata shook her head, but she didn't fully disagree with her sister. Hey, can I tell you something? Hanabi asked uncertainly. Sure, anything, Hinata said. It's not serious, it's just I've been having this weird dream lately, for a few days now, Hanabi said. What a weird dream? Hinata asked curiously, not liking what she might hear. Well, I can't see anything, and I hear this voice that kind of calls to me, Hanabi said. Do you know what the voice says? Hinata asked wearily. Yeah, it always says I'm coming sweetie, and that's when I wake up, Hanabi said thoughtfully, then turned to see a shocked Hinata. What's wrong with Hinata? Hanabi asked worriedly. Nothing. Nothing, Hinata said, but she could still see Hanabi's worry for her. Okay, but if you need someone to talk to then you can count on me, Hanabi said. Hinata smiled at her, but her mind was elsewhere. Has Hanabi been having the same dream as her? This was so weird to be a coincidence, and that made her worry. She couldn't shake off that bad feeling, and after what Hanabi had told her the feeling increased tenfold. Hinata-chan? Naruto asked, as he looked at the woman standing in front of him in shock. The woman's head whipped to his direction. It seemed that he had her full attention now. Hinata, do you mean Hyuga Hinata? The woman questioned. Naruto stared at her. He was shocked to the core. This woman looked like Hinata except much older. Her hair was blue like Hinata's, and even her face was similar. But the one thing that threw him off were the eyes. Those eyes that looked exactly like the Jubies, Naruto realized to his horror. He could never forget the color of the eye of that monstrosity. The eyes on this woman that had Hinata's image matched the eye of the Jubi. There was also that all too familiar malevolent chakra that was similar to the Jubies, but he also felt another chakra signature coming from the woman that wasn't malevolent. Do you mean Hyuga Hinata? The woman asked again with a hint of impatience. That's none of your B. Sakura was trying not to give this woman as much information as possible, but Naruto ruined her plan. Who are you ladies, and why do you look like Hinata-chan? Naruto questioned angrily. How dare someone try to steal Hinata's identity, and turn it into something evil? He didn't see Sakura's angry face. So you are familiar with Hinata if you were able to easily distinguish her similar physical traits. You should also be very close to her with how you referred to her using Chan in her name. I hope not too close though, otherwise you and I might have a problem, the woman said. Who are you? Naruto questioned again, this time in confusion. She looked at everyone in the vicinity to make sure that they were preparing to attack, while the boy acted as a distraction. They all seemed ready, but were currently waiting on her answer it seemed. You should have at least made a guess on who I am from my appearance, but seeing as you are all waiting patiently for me I shall tell you. It's really quite simple if you put it into perspective. Before I tell you though I'll give you a guess, the woman said with a smile. We don't have time for this. Kankuro shouted. Calm yourself child. So young blonde one, what do you think? The woman asked. I think you're the Jubi, Naruto stated seriously, earning horror looks from everyone except the woman who just smiled at him. Not correct, but not wrong either, the woman said, and immediately everyone went on the defensive. Fine then, who are you exactly? Kakashi asked. He was scared out of his mind. If this woman was linked to the Jubi, the beast that nearly killed all of them, then they were all in deep trouble. To put it simply, I am Hinata's mother, she said while staring directly at Naruto. Kakashi was always a level-headed ninja because he had to be, and surrounding himself with the likes of Naruto had given him a belief in the impossible being possible, but right now he was struggling to come to terms with the current predicament. He knew Hitomi Hyuga back in the days when he was in Minato's team. Minato and Kushina were close friends with Hiashi and Hitomi. When Kushina was pregnant with Naruto, it was Hitomi and Mikoto who would spend most of their time with her, helping her cope and relax, especially considering Minato being a nervous wreck when it came to the pregnancy. He worried too much about Kushina's health, to the extent that Kushina didn't have any breathing space, and that was when Hitomi and Mikoto offered their assistance to a grateful Hokage. Hinata was a lot like her in more ways than appearance. Hitomi had a kind heart, and always strived for a gentle approach with any problem concerning people. He remembered hearing about her death one day after giving birth to her second child, but if that's true, then who was this? He immediately ruled out the possibility of a random impostor, because if memory serves him right, then her chakra signature was exactly how he remembered it, except only now he could detect 2 chakra signatures being emitted from her body. She even looked the same except for those red eyes that looked like the Jubi's. She also immediately reacted when she heard Naruto say Hinata's name. How could this be? Kakashi was all for the possibility of believing in the impossible, but this? Maybe Orochimaru brought her back from death using that forbidden form that he used to summon the past Hokages before he died, but what would he have to gain if he did that? She was just an innocent woman. And why does she have 2 chakra signatures? Was she? Why couldn't he ever get a break? What the hell do you mean you're Hinata's mother? Naruto shouted in surprise. That revelation really made his head hurt. I'll have to agree with him. If you are who you say you are, then technically you're supposed to be dead, Kakashi stated. Nothing ever escapes you, right, Kakashi-kun? Hitomi said, shocking Kakashi in the process. Wait, how does she know you? Naruto asked, surprised. Never mind that. What is your purpose here, huh? Temari asked angrily. To absorb all chakra in human existence, Hitomi declared it seriously. Why would you do that? If you were really Hinata's mother, then you would never do that, Kakashi said, earning a glare from the woman. Do not ever question my relation to my daughter again, Haddock. The reason I am among the living is the same reason why you two retained the tailed beasts in your respective seals, after they were freed or extracted from you, Hitomi said, looking at both Naruto and Gar. How did you know? Gar asked, shocked. Information gathering, Hitomi stated. What the hell is she talking about? What does she mean by retained the tailed beasts? A random person asked wearily. Allow me to explain. When a tailed beast is sealed into a sacrifice, then it obtains mortality, and lives within for the remainder of the Jinchuruki's lifespan. Now theoretically, once it dies a natural death, then the beast is freed from the seal, so that's why other sacrifices are prepared, example being the likes of Kushina Uzumaki, when she came to containing the Kyuubi from Mito Uzumaki, who was also a container of the 9-tailed fox. But if the container were to experience an unnatural death, then the imprisoned beast would die with its host. Once you remove the seal from the designated area of your mindscape, then the beast will also be freed, as well. However, in all these scenarios there is one thing that remains the same, the residual chakra left behind by the demon. When the beast is free, it's still linked to its container in what is referred to as a chakra line. There are a few ways to sever the link permanently. One of these would be prolonged distance between the beast and the vessel, and another would be the death of the vessel altogether. If the chakra line is strong and short enough, then the beast could be reabsorbed into its original container forcibly, and a new seal made by the Shinigami himself will be created to permanently detain the beast within the host until the host's death. So even if you remove the seal from within the mindscape, then the demon would only have a temporal window in order to create a large enough distance to sever the link. Even if the Bijuu is seemingly destroyed, the chakra line is still existent, and so the Bijuu could still be returned to you. You should be well aware of this, Naruto-kun, Hitomi said, looking at Naruto. Heck, everyone was looking at Naruto except Sakura and the Sans siblings. Naruto, you still have the Kyuubi? Kakashi asked, shocked. He thought they got rid of the demons a long time ago. Yeah, we never knew about the link until it was too late, Naruto said, as he kept his eyes on the woman who seemed to know him. And what about you, Gar? Sakura asked, still reeling from the revelation. She already knew Naruto still had the Kyuubi, and had sworn to keep it secret under Tsunede's orders, but now she knew how that was possible. I have retained Shukaku, but how it happened still escapes us, Gar replied truthfully. He was surprised one day to find himself in the mindscape with Shukaku sulking on being imprisoned again. So how does this explain why you are alive? Kakashi asked, turning back to Hitomi. The chakra link between a Bijuu and its vessel is potent in nature, and because of that, excess chakra is leaked from the connection into the environment, whether the Bijuu is inside or outside its container. Demon chakra contains a part of the demon's essence, so in a way it's part of the Bijuu's soul. Now I don't know all the specifics, but it seemed that the Jubi had the power to actually choose a host for itself if need be, and before it was completely demise, it used the chakra that it leaked into the environment from being linked to Obito Uchiha to locate me specifically, and take refuge in my decomposed body. In doing so, it actually revived me to what you see now, Hitomi said. How could you know about Obito? Kakashi asked, stupefied. The Jubi tells me what I wish to know. It is very knowledgeable in the events of life during my death period. It is even aware of the histories of the Fire Country and its inhabitants, even though it hadn't physically existed until a few months ago. The 10 tails can be very handy when it calls for it, Hitomi started with a smile. So what of the Jubi? Asked scaredly. I am its current container. Do not fear though, for it cannot free itself from my body, but it has been annoying me, as of late about taking what's rightfully its, Hitomi said with a small frown. So the Jubi still exists, Kakashi said in horror. Yes, and because of its traits I have been given the ability to completely remove chakra from any individual. That is what the beast has told me anyway, Hitomi said. But that would mean killing people, Sakura said scaredly. No, the removal of their chakra would not take their lives. Thanks to the Jubi's weakened state in my mindscape, it would render them unconscious for a day or two, otherwise I would not commit myself to this, Hitomi said. Why are you doing this, Hitomi-sen? Kakashi asked. She knew way too much about them personally not to be Hitomi. Easy, Kakashi-kun. Imagine a world of peace that didn't involve violence, and chakra is only used for wars and killing these days, and therefore is a hindrance to the world. I aim to fix that without killing anyone. I am doing this for the good of humanity using the Jubi's ability to absorb chakra, only I won't take people's life forces with it, Hitomi said. I'm sorry, Hitomi-san, but taking away someone's chakra is the same as taking away a piece of who they are, and we can't allow you to do that, Kakashi said seriously. Kakashi is correct. If you take away our chakra then you take away a piece of ourselves with it, Gara stated. HMP. I just knew you wouldn't understand. Fine, be that way, but I will change this world for the better whether you like it or not. Give Hinata-chan and Hanabi-chan my greetings, Naruto-kun, for I'm sure you know both of them if you know my eldest daughter, and tell Hiashi that I'm coming for my children. Until next time. Hitomi said seriously, and disappeared in a purple flash. Does she know Hirashin? Kakashi asked, surprised. Oh man. Just wait until Hinata hears about this, Naruto said looking tired. Everyone looked tired. She must have taken more chakra out of them than he thought. That's all you worried about? Sakura shouted angrily. The Jubi was out there, and all he was focused on was telling Hinata that his supposed dead mother was actually alive, because of the 10-tailed beast that almost destroyed the entire world. Well, if she put into that perspective then she could actually see why Naruto thought that was more important. Hachu. Hinata sneezed. Someone's talking about you. Maybe a blonde knucklehead, Hanabi teased. Stop that, Hanabi-chan. Hinata sputtered with a huge blush on her face. At least I still got that over you. Hanabi laughed. Not funny, Hanabi-chan, Hinata said dangerously, and then advanced on her little sister. What are you doing? Hanabi asked, alarmed. Teaching you a lesson, Hinata replied, as she proceeded to tickle Hanabi. No? Stop. Please, Hanabi laughed and wheezed. Okay fine, I think you've had enough, Hinata said, as she let up on her attack. You mean? Hanabi pouted. So do you hate me? Hinata asked, raising an eyebrow. I love you, Hanabi said. Wow, I've hardly heard you say that in a long time, Hinata laughed, earning a glare from Hanabi. I already said I was sorry, Hinata, Hanabi said sadly. Oh Hanabi, I didn't mean it like that, Hinata said soothingly, as she hugged Hanabi. I feel so stupid, you know. I'll always regret what I did to you, Hanabi said, as Hinata caressed her hair. One day you'll get over it, but right now all you need is love and comfort, Hinata said. Well, I'm not the only one, Hanabi said, as she stared at Hinata. You're right, Hinata smiled. We should do something together, Hanabi said suddenly. Like what? Hinata asked. I don't know, what do sisters usually do? Hanabi asked. Hinata said in thought, then she looked at Hanabi and smiled mischievously. I don't like the way you look at me, Hanabi said. Come on, Hinata said. They made their way to Hinata's destination carefully to make sure they weren't being spied on, and when Hanabi saw where Hinata was taking her, she immediately tried to run, but Hinata grabbed her. No? You know I don't like these kinds of places, Hanabi pleaded. It's all part of being a girl, Hinata simply replied, and led Hanabi into the clothing shop. I hate you, Hanabi said, as she came out of the changing room with a beautiful dark red kimono. I love you too, Hanabi-chan, and you look positively adorable, Hinata gushed. TCH. Can I change now? Hanabi replied irritably. Yeah, change into the next kimono, Hinata said, and got a groan in response. They spent the day together doing anything that they could think of. Hinata had to admit that Hanabi had been withdrawn to the extent that she didn't know how to enjoy herself fully without guarding her emotions, but Hinata hoped to change that soon. Her sister deserved better. She at least knew Hanabi was changing for the better since she wasn't as cruel as before, but she still needed a little more work on her manners. Right now they were back in the apartment, but only for a few minutes more since the time for Hanabi's visit was almost over. I don't think you should come to this place anymore, Hanabi, Hinata stated seriously. Why? Hanabi asked, hurt. Hanabi, it's getting harder to keep this secret from my father, Hinata said seriously. Why should we hide this from our father anyway? I mean, it was part of the agreement that you'd be allowed to see anyone you want, Hanabi said. I know, but father has a tendency to get volatile, Hinata said sadly. But it's not fair. Hanabi shouted. I know, but it is what it is, Hinata said. So will you come see me tomorrow? Hanabi asked. Do you even have to ask? Hinata raised an eyebrow. You never know when the day will come that you will get bored of me, Hanabi shrugged. Don't talk like that, Hinata frowned. Like what? Hanabi asked. Like I would ever leave you, Hinata said. Oh? Anyway, what are you going to do about the sealing thing? If Naruto can remove the caged bird seal, then father won't be pleased if he finds out, Hanabi said worriedly. For now we do nothing, and tell no one of this. I am thinking of using Naruto's ability to help our family together, but not now, Hinata said. But you can't participate in clan matters because you're not a part of the Hyuga clan anymore, Hanabi said. I know, and that's the problem. If they could only lift the banishment, then I would immediately be eligible for Hyuga head since I'm not branded anymore, Hinata replied sadly. So you want to be head? We could work on this thing together if you want, Hanabi suggested. That would be lovely, Hinata said. Okay, I have to go now, but I'll see you tomorrow, Hanabi said, as she made her way out of the apartment. Bye Hanabi-chan, Hinata called out. She sat down on the couch. She was pretty tired with today's activities, and didn't feel like doing anything big right now. She was left to her thoughts, and her thoughts led her to the blonde hero. She hoped he was alright, and the mission didn't take too much of him, but knowing Naruto he probably found a way to exhaust himself. She really hoped that their date would work out, but she had to figure out a way to stay confident, and not revert to her shy self. How could she do that when Naruto was the only person she knew that could make her into a stuttering mess? She hoped she figured it out soon. Hanabi was in her room practicing kanji with a cane by her side. The cane was off duty, but since they developed something close to friendship they spent more time together. Hanabi wasn't really concentrating because she was thinking about the dream she told Hinata about. The woman's voice was so sweet, so alluring that Hanabi felt so drawn to it. The voice also held a curtain of kindness to remind Hanabi of Hinata. It was weird, but telling Hinata about her dream seemed to spook her a little. Why was she so scared? Did she experience the same thing as she did? It would have been a very unexpected coincidence. Your kanji is very beautiful, Hanabi-chan, the cane commented, and that snapped Hanabi out of her daze. Oh thanks, Hanabi replied half-heartedly. The door opened, and a guard walked in. Hanabi-sama. Hiyashi-sama requests an audience with you, the guard bowed. I see. I have to leave the cane now, Hanabi said. It's okay, I'll see you tomorrow, the cane said. Hanabi made her way into her father's office. She walked in, and found her father busy with paperwork. Take a seat, Hanabi, Hiyashi said without even giving her so much as a glance. Hanabi took a seat, and started. You summoned me, father? Hanabi asked curiously. Yes. Earlier today I was looking for you, and I couldn't find you anywhere in the compound, not even in the branch area, and I was curious to know where you've been, Hiyashi said, as he continued his paperwork. I decided to take a walk around the village for some fresh air, Hanabi replied, and was grateful that he didn't look up at her. Where around the village? Hiyashi asked. Just random places, Hanabi shrugged. I hope you are not using that time to see your former sister, Hiyashi said, glancing at her. No father, Hanabi lied, and mentally sighed in relief when she saw that he bought it, although he still looked suspiciously at her. Good. You are free to leave, Hiyashi said with a wave of his hand. Before I go I have to know why I can't see Hinata. Hanabi asked. I've already told you that you can't, Hiyashi said. But why? Hanabi asked. Because I said so, Hiyashi replied. But what if I really wanted to see her? Hanabi asked. What is the sudden interest in this, Hanabi? You never liked Hinata to begin with, Hiyashi stated, and was surprised when he saw Hanabi flinch. Yes, it's true that I never really showed care towards Hinata, but what if I wanted to try it? Hanabi asked. Enough, Hanabi. Leave now, Hiyashi said, as he glared at his daughter. Yes, father, Hanabi said dismissively, and left. Hiyashi sighed irritably. It seemed like he couldn't get rid of the memory of that pathetic child, and now Hanabi was acting strange as well. Hanabi flopped on her bed. Her dad was impossible. He refuses to listen to reason, and treats everyone as if they were his enemy. She didn't care because she was going to see Hinata whenever she wanted. If her father were to discover it then he would be angry at her, but she loved Hinata too much to stop. Then there was the whole Naruto being able to get rid of the seal. She still couldn't grasp it. The Uzumaki idiot was able to create something that could shake the very foundation of the Hyuga clan, but how? How on earth could he do that, especially considering he wasn't a seal expert? Well, not yet anyway. He always seemed to surprise everyone with how insightful and smart he could be. She didn't understand why Hinata was so infatuated with Naruto though. The boy was way too dense for her sister, but that was just her opinion on it. She decided to get some sleep and wait for the next day. Hinata was lying on her bed in deep thought. The activities she had done with Hanabi wasn't enough to warrant her worries away. The dream seemed too difficult to think of as a coincidence. She realized to her shock that the voice she was hearing was of her dead mother, but the more shocking was Hanabi's admission of having the same dream. Their mother died during childbirth, so Hanabi couldn't possibly know that the woman she had been hearing in her dreams was their very own mom. What did it mean though? Was it some kind of bad sign? A warning for something horrible? Hinata had never believed in bad luck or omens, but right now it was hard for her mind not to linger on those thoughts. If it was anything bad involving Hanabi, and Hinata needed to be prepared to protect her sister, even if it meant her death in the process, she really hoped it didn't come to that in the future. She didn't want to sleep at the moment, afraid of hearing her mother's voice. She looked for something to keep herself busy, and saw a photo album beside the bed on the dresser. She took the book and skimmed through the pages, which mostly consisted of Naruto and the Rookie 9 with a few team guys as well. She looked at more pictures and saw a lot of them consisted of women she didn't know. She was a little jealous that these women appeared way more than she did, but she would just accept it and maybe create her own memories with Naruto. Hinata was becoming very sleepy, and it was inevitable, so she closed her eyes and waited for the voice that filled her head. Sorry. Excuse me. Could you move already? Hanabi said, as she weaved her way through a large crowd. It wasn't wise for her to be visiting her sister after Hinata had warned her that it was getting too dangerous to do so, but Hanabi was too excited today to heed the warning. She made Hinata food to eat, as a way of showing her sister kindness, although she wasn't sure how good the food actually was, because she didn't even try it when she made it, but she was sure that it was really good. She was a prodigy after all, so how hard would cooking be? She made courage with her own twist to the Japanese cuisine. This way she couldn't be accused of buying it somewhere, even though Hinata would never do such a thing. This sister bonding made her feel so happy. She hadn't felt this way in years. Who knew that all it took was Hinata to get some backbone and stand up for herself? Definitely not Hanabi. No matter how much Hinata waved off her past misgivings, Hanabi couldn't bring herself to forgive and forget them, maybe one day, but not now. She felt she still owed Hinata more before the past could stay in the past. She looked back at the box that held the food that she had made and wanted to give to Hinata. She didn't know what prompted her to sneak into the kitchen, make the branch members promise not to tell anyone what she was doing, and then cook in solitary, but she just woke up and had the idea, which was strange because she never thought like that before. It was 3 days ago when Hinata had warned her not to visit, but Hanabi had something to share with her, and that's what she was going to do, damn it. She had become too distracted that she ended up bumping into someone, knocking her off balance, and making her drop the box which spilled all the contents on the street. No, Hanabi whispered sadly looking at the dirt-filled food on the ground, and she worked so hard to make it too. She was also dirty from falling, but that was the last thing on her mind. Goodness. I'm so sorry, are you okay? Said a voice from above her, and Hanabi felt arms envelop her, and was helped back to her feet. Yeah, it's fine, I didn't watch where I was going, Hanabi said, not moving her eyes from that messed up food she made. No, that won't do. Please allow me to make it up to you, said a woman's voice, and Hanabi finally tore her eyes from the food, and looked at the woman talking to her. Hanabi had to admit the woman was very pretty. She had long flowing brown hair, nice, but fair skin tone, a beautiful face, and beautiful dark purple eyes which heavily contrasted with her hair, but helped outline her overall beauty. No, it's fine, really, Hanabi said kindly. She was trying to change after all, and there was no point in berating this woman. I insist. My house is just around the corner. We can get you cleaned up. It's the least I could do, the woman continued. Hanabi would have told the woman it didn't matter, but something told her that it wouldn't be enough to convince her. Through her training she had learned a great deal on how to read people, and this woman seemed genuinely regretful for what happened. Plus Hanabi didn't have the heart to say no to this seemingly kind person, so she relented. Besides, if anything bad were to happen, then she could handle herself. Okay, Hanabi said suddenly, noticing she was already being led by the woman. Good, was all the woman said with a warm smile. Hanabi got to the woman's house, and was instructed of the place she could get cleaned up. She made her way into the shower, and was informed of a new set of clothes waiting for her when she finished. This was so weird. She was in a stranger's place. A stranger. Hinata would surely be upset with her if she found out about this, but nothing bad has happened so far. She hoped she wouldn't speak too soon. She made her way out of the shower, and opened the bathroom door a little bit, and saw a clean stack of clothes on the floor. She didn't feel comfortable putting on clothes she was unfamiliar with, but her other clothes were dirty, and nowhere to be seen. She got dressed, and made her way to the living room. She saw the woman in the kitchen, and walked to her. Thank you for the hospitality, but I think I should leave now, Hanabi said. The food that was dropped, did you make it? The woman asked. Yeah, Hanabi said with a frown. I've got a lot of ingredients available in my kitchen. Perhaps you can make something similar to that, the woman offered. No? I couldn't do th. Hanabi was cut off with the woman smiling tenderly at her. I don't mind. Cook to your heart's content, the woman said. I don't know, Hanabi said wearily. It's okay, the woman drawled with a smile. Thank you. My name's Hanabi, Hanabi said. She didn't know why she was doing this, but this woman made her feel really comfortable. Besides, this way there was no way she could be discovered by her father or his spies. You can call me Saya, Saya said. So Hanabi started making the same dish she made for Hinata using Saya's ingredients. She had to admit that had tons of different ingredients at her disposal. She took a glance, and saw Saya sitting on her living room couch, and reading a book. Hanabi had never been a person to openly trust someone, let alone a stranger. What was wrong with her? Maybe Saya did something to her. Hanabi mentally kicked herself. If she kept this up, then it wouldn't be long before she became paranoid. And Saya. Why did she just let Hanabi into her house? This woman was very strange indeed, but Hanabi wasn't complaining. I'm done, Hanabi said with a hint of glee. Saya put her book down, and then made her way to Hanabi. So is this the same food you made before? Saya asked, eyeing the fried fish, meat, and vegetables. Yeah, exactly the same. You have a lot of ingredients. Sorry for the mess, and using too much of your food, Hanabi said. It's alright. The mess isn't that big, and I have a large stock of fresh food to begin with, Saya said kindly. Oh okay. Thanks again. Do you have anything I could use to carry it? Hanabi asked. First things first, Hanabi-chan. Can I take a bite? Saya asked. Sure, I mean it is your stuff I used, Hanabi said. Saya smiled, and then took a fork, and proceeded to take a small portion of the courage Hanabi made, and put it into her mouth. There was a pause, but it didn't take long for Saya to scrunch her face, and gag a little. What's wrong? Is it the food? Hanabi asked. Well, I have to admit the food is kind of overwhelming, Saya said, as evenly as possible. Hanabi saw straight through it, and knew that Saya was saying that her food was bad. Her head dropped in disappointment. She could blame the taste of the food on its condition, but she was already told that the food was fresh. Well, it was my second time ever cooking anything, Hanabi said. There's no need to feel upset. Some people are gifted with the skill while most others practice to achieve it. Since it was just your second time, you can't fault yourself for this. Just keep cooking until you get better, Saya said. Sigh thanks, Hanabi said, but the disappointment was still there. Now what was she going to give Hinata? You know we could work on this together. We can start from scratch, and make the exact thing you tried to, if you're willing, that is, Saya said, staring down at Hanabi. Sure, Hanabi said, uncertain of what to say. Excellent, Saya replied gleefully. They began cooking together with Saya helping her to apply the right ingredient to the right part of the meal. Hanabi was enjoying herself immensely. She had her suspicions of Saya and her intentions, but that was quickly dissolved with how kind Saya was to her. How could any person be this nice just out of goodwill? She was like an older version of Hinata, and Hanabi knew there weren't many people like that in the world. She smiled when Saya praised her for a perfectly seasoned fish. Saya really did have an effect on her, and Hanabi was very confused as to why she felt so calm and free around this woman. The food they had been making was finally completed, and Hanabi marveled at the presentation and taste. It looked way better than her first and second attempt. They put the food into a container, and Hanabi was finally ready to go. I'm not sure I can keep these clothes, Saya-san, Hanabi said looking down at herself. It's okay, Hanabi-chan. Think of it as a gift. Besides, those clothes won't be able to fit me, Saya said smiling. Hanabi looked carefully at her shirt and pants. They looked brand new, like they were bought just yesterday. Hanabi frowned. Were these clothes meant for someone else? Hanabi asked. Yes, however that person didn't want them, Saya said. Oh? Well, thank you, Saya-san. I'll see you around, Hanabi said, as she made her way out the door. Hanabi-chan, Saya called. Yes? Hanabi asked, looking back. You're turning out to be a beautiful girl, Saya said. Thanks, Hanabi blushed, and left not knowing what to think of what she just heard. Saya closed her door, and made her way to the living room couch. She sat down, and got back to reading her book. She turned out so wonderfully. If only I can get to talk to her and Hinata at the same time, Saya said, as she skimmed through pages. No one here would be able to stop you, so why not just get them now? Said a booming voice. Don't be silly. I'm not just going to act recklessly, Saya said with a frown, seemingly talking to herself. Your little stunt in that desert was reckless, the deep voice reminded me. It had to be done. I want people to know that I'm alive, and I couldn't do that in Konoha. I had to confuse them on my potential whereabouts. Wouldn't want mass panic, now would we? Saya said evenly. Well, there is going to be mass panic when people find out about you living, the voice continued. Can be helped, besides I'm not here for anyone else, but my kids, Saya said. You've been living here for months now. Why make yourself known now? The voice questioned. For my kids, she said seriously. Your reasoning bores me. These attachments you humans have to your offspring is idiotic at best, the deep voice said. Like I'd expect a demon to understand. Why are you so curious about Shinju? Saya asked. It doesn't matter, as long as you take all the chakra that exists in the world. Shinju are better known, as the Jubi said. Thank goodness you're imprisoned. It would really be horrible for you to be free rampaging, and killing people just for your chakra, Saya, or better yet, Hitomi said. Ah, whatever. Life and death don't matter to me, as long as I complete my purpose, Shinju said. Well, I'll be using your power without any casualties, Hitomi said. Like I said, human, as long as I complete my purpose, purging this world of chakra, Shinju said, and then cut off the link. Annoying Jubi, Hitomi said with a frown. Hinata was walking through the streets of Konoha at a frantic pace. She came to the Hyuga compound, but couldn't find Hanabi anywhere, and no one knew where she went. Hinata was worried sick. If anything happened to Hanabi, then she didn't know what she would do. God, where was she? Hinata's brain kept on giving her worst-case scenarios where Hanabi would die every time. She was about to scream in frustration when she saw Hanabi come out of a corner. Hinata rushed to Hanabi screaming her name, not caring one bit who heard her. She quickly scooped her sister into a hug. Whoa, Hinata, watch it. You almost made me drop the food, Hanabi said while holding tightly to the container. Where were you? Hinata said, upset. I was making you this, Hanabi said. Hinata put Hanabi down, and then took the container. She looked at its contents and found the food. Come on, let's go to the apartment. No use in getting discovered if we go to the compound, Hinata said more calmly, and went with her sister to Naruto's apartment. Sorry for making you worry, Hanabi said after noticing her sister's face. Sigh, it's okay, but please don't go around like that. I don't want anything bad happening to you, Hinata said. Okay, Hanabi said, as they walked together. She wanted to tell Hinata about the woman that she met, but she feared Hinata would get upset again. This can't be happening, Tsunade said, as she rubbed her temple. Things just kept getting worse. She didn't think that Kakashi and his team would get much out of the mission she sent them on, even if it took them until now to return to Konoha, but from what Kakashi had reported, she was wrong, big time. Apparently Hitomi Hyuga, someone that died 12 years ago, was alive again, and not just that, but she was also the container of one of the most destructive beings that ever existed, the Jubi. God, that thing was a nightmare. It took all the shinobi nations plus reincarnated heroes of the past Hokages being among them, to take it down, and that was a narrow win to put it bluntly. Now that thing is back. She really did have the worst luck imaginable. I'm sorry, Tsunade-sama put it all through, Sakura said. This is too much to take in, Tsunade said. Yeah, I know. Just wait until Hinata-chan finds out, Naruto said. We must be prepared for the worst. I will declare this as top priority to the other cages, but I will not use Hitomi's identity, Tsunade said. But wait, Tsunade-sama? Sakura asked. We don't know anything about this situation, just like we don't know anything about the Jubi. The Jubi itself could be using her image for its own purposes and tricking us in the process. I will declare the Jubi as a triple S rank threat, but we will not label that demon as Hitomi until we can be absolutely sure. Do you understand? Tsunade said. Yeah. So what can I tell Hinata-chan? Naruto asked curiously. Just tell her that there's an enemy. Don't tell her anything about her mother's image, not until we figure all of this out, Tsunade said seriously. Okay, Naruto said, a bit disappointed. You've all done well, and your pay will be sent to you. Get some rest, and relax, as much as possible because I'm pretty sure things will be getting busy soon, Tsunade said. They all left Tsunade to her thoughts. This was really bad. This could lead to another ninja world war. She decided to start immediately with contacting the other cages. Shizune, get in here. Tsunade ordered. She truly hoped that this assailant wasn't the kind lovable woman that would spend her time with Kushina, because if that was so, then the decisions Tsunade was going to make would be the hardest in her life. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.